I am Catalia Morales, 26 years old, and I discovered the depth of my family's cruelty in a WhatsApp group I wasn't supposed to see. It was my cousin Maria's wedding planning chat, accidentally shared to the wrong Catalia, me instead of our elderly aunt, and there they were, my siblings and cousins, dissecting my appearance like surgeons examining a failed experiment. At least with the Valencia filter, she's almost presentable, my sister Sophia had written, accompanying a photo from our mother's birthday where I'd felt beautiful for once. Better than the Ludwig disaster at Christmas face with tears of joy, my brother Diego replied. Girl really thought she was doing something with that dress. The messages scrolled on, each one a scalpel cutting deeper until I reached my cousin Luis's contribution. Someone needs to tell her to stop trying. Some people just aren't meant to be in photos. It's cruel to let her keep embarrassing herself. I sat in my Miami Beach efficiency apartment, the one with the broken AC and perpetual mold smell, reading their words over and over. The family that smiled at Sunday dinners, that posted "Love you Prima" on my Instagram posts, that had watched me struggle through casting calls and rejections for 3 years, they'd been laughing behind my back the entire time. Not just dismissing my dreams but mocking my face, my body, my existence in their aesthetic world. The chat revealed years of ridicule. Screenshots of my modeling portfolio shared for entertainment. Betting pools on how long before I gave up and got a real job. My brother had apparently won $200 when I'd cried after my 15th rejection, not knowing he'd been profiting from my pain. The spiral was immediate and devastating. I called in sick to my restaurant job, couldn't eat, couldn't look in mirrors without hearing their voices. The Shrek comparison was harsh, but accurate. Her nose enters rooms 5 minutes before she does. Imagine paying for photos of that. Every cruel word etched itself into my reflection until I couldn't see anything else. This wasn't strangers on the internet or casting directors with impossible standards. This was blood, family, the people who were supposed to love me unconditionally. They turned my face into a punchline and my dreams into dinner entertainment. But the lowest point became the turning point. After a week of self-destruction, I found myself in the emergency room, dehydrated from crying and not eating. The nurse who admitted me, a middle-aged Haitian woman named Jocelyn, took one look at my state and said, "Baby, whoever made you feel this worthless ain't worth your tears." She stayed past her shift, held my hand while I sobbed out the story, then gave me a business card. My daughter's a therapist. Specializes in trauma from family dysfunction. You call her. And stop letting small people make you feel small. Dr. Simone Baptiste saved my life, though she'd say I saved my own. Through months of therapy, she helped me understand that my family's cruelty said nothing about my worth and everything about their own insecurities. They're threatened by your courage, she explained during one session. You're chasing dreams while they're stuck in suburban safety. Attacking your appearance is easier than admitting their own cowardice. She encouraged me to channel the pain into purpose, to stop seeking validation from people invested in my failure. Your beauty isn't the problem, Catalia. Their inability to see it is. The breakthrough came through an unexpected source. While researching diverse modeling agencies, I discovered Raw Beauty Miami, a new agency specifically representing models who challenged conventional standards. Their Instagram featured women with vitiligo, burn survivors, plus-size queens, and faces that told stories rather than sold fantasies. Their mission statement read, "Beauty isn't perfection. It's power. It's presence. It's perseverance." I submitted my portfolio at 2 a.m., attaching a note about my journey, my family's cruelty, my determination to redefine beauty for girls who'd been told they weren't enough. I expected nothing. I got everything. Zara Chun, Raw Beauty's founder, called personally. "Your submission made me cry," she said without preamble. "Not because of what they said about you, but because of what you said about yourself. You still called yourself a model after all that. That's the energy we need." The meeting felt like coming home. Zara, herself a former model who'd been told her Asian features were too ethnic for mainstream campaigns, had built Raw Beauty as a rebellion. Her team included photographers who'd been rejected for their own appearances, makeup artists who specialized in enhancing rather than hiding, and models who'd survived everything from acid attacks to eating disorders. "We don't just challenge beauty standards," Zara explained. "We demolish them and build something better." My first shoot with Raw Beauty was transformative. No one asked me to contour my nose into disappearance or suggested angles to minimize my features. Instead, photographer Marcus Williams, a Black man who'd been told his own vision was too urban for fashion, captured me as I was. Raw, real, resilient. The photos were stunning, not despite my features, but because of them. My strong nose that entered rooms first commanded attention. My deep-set eyes that cousins called caveman-like held stories. My angular face that didn't fit Instagram filters created shadows and light that Marcus called architectural. For the first time, I saw what professional eyes could see. Not conventional prettiness, but compelling beauty. The campaign opportunity came 6 months later. Magna, a new sustainable fashion brand, wanted faces that represented resilience for their launch campaign titled Unfiltered. They specifically requested models whose stories embodied overcoming judgment, transforming pain into power. Zara submitted my portfolio along with a proposal that would change everything. "Catalia doesn't just have a story," she pitched. "She has evidence. What if we made the cruelty visible? What if the campaign literally featured the words used to break her, transformed into art?" Magna's creative director, Elena Vasquez, herself a survivor of body shaming, immediately understood the vision. The concept was revolutionary in its simplicity. The billboards would feature my face in stunning black and white photography, but overlaid with actual screenshots of my family's messages. Not censored or softened, but exactly as they'd written them. "Too ugly to model." Shrek comparison was accurate. Her nose enters rooms first. But the twist. Each cruel comment would be partially obscured by bold text revealing what I'd become. Signed T.O. Raw Beauty. Magna Campaign Face. Redefining beauty standards. The headline across all billboards, "This is what resilience looks like." I had the legal right to use the messages. They'd been sent in a group chat I was accidentally added to, making me a recipient. But more importantly, I had the moral authority. They'd weaponized their words against me. I was simply returning fire with success. My lawyer cousin Roberto, the only family member who'd ever supported me, reviewed everything. "Legally clean," he confirmed. "Ethically devastating. They'll never recover from this." That was the point. Not just to succeed, but to ensure they'd see their cruelty reflected back every time they drove down I-95 or scrolled through social media. The photo shoot was cathartic. Marcus captured me in ways that transformed each insult into power. The Shrek comparison photo showed me in warrior-like poses, strong and mythical. The nose they mocked was shot in profile, regal as ancient sculptures. Every cruel word became part of the artistic narrative, their hatred literally the backdrop to my triumph. Elena Vasquez watched the shots come together with tears in her eyes. "This isn't just a campaign," she said. "This is a reckoning. Every person who's been told they're not enough needs to see this." But the universe had one more twist. The day before the billboard launch, I discovered something that explained everything. Going through old family photos for therapy, I found pictures of my father's sister, Tia Carmen, who died before I was born. She looked exactly like me. The same strong nose, deep eyes, angular features. Beautiful in an unconventional way that threatened conventional people. I called my abuela, who lived in Puerto Rico and had always been distant. "Why does no one talk about Tia Carmen?" I asked. The silence stretched across Caribbean waters before she answered. "Carmen was a model in San Juan. Very successful. But the family, they were jealous. Said terrible things. She moved to New York, cut contact. Died alone in a car accident. We lost her twice, first to cruelty, then to death." The revelation recontextualized everything. My family's cruelty wasn't random. It was inherited trauma, generational jealousy, history repeating through hatred. They saw Carmen in my face, and attacked what they'd already destroyed once. But I wouldn't be another cautionary tale whispered at family gatherings. I'd be the redemption Carmen never got to claim. The billboards launched on a Monday morning, strategically placed across Miami-Dade County. The main installation towered over the highway near my family's Coral Gables neighborhood, impossible to miss on their morning commutes. By noon, #ResilienceLooksLike was trending globally. The family group chat exploded, screenshots flooding my blocked messages folder through various channels. Sophia begging me to take them down, claiming I'd misunderstood their humor. Diego threatening legal action while misspelling defamation. Cousins who'd laughed at their jokes now distancing themselves, claiming they'd always believed in me. My parents, who'd been silent enablers, suddenly found their voices to call me vindictive and attention-seeking. The attention I received was overwhelming but validating. Thousands of messages from people who'd faced similar cruelty, who saw themselves in my story. Models who'd been rejected for their features reached out with support. Parents shared the campaign with daughters struggling with self-image. Magna's website crashed from traffic as the campaign went viral. But the most powerful response came from established models and celebrities who'd hidden their own rejection stories. Lupita Nyong'o shared the campaign with a personal note about being told she was too dark for film. Lizzo reposted with screenshots of her own family's cruel comments about her body. The campaign became a movement, with people sharing their own transformation stories using #ResilienceLooksLike. Magna expanded the campaign, featuring other models with their own evidence of overcome cruelty. What started as my revenge became collective healing. The billboard stayed up for 3 months, renewed twice due to public demand. My family tried everything: public apologies I didn't acknowledge, private messages I didn't read, even showing up at Raw Beauty's office before security escorted them out. They learned what I'd learned in that group chat. Words have consequences, and some things can't be unsent. The campaign's success opened doors I'd never imagined. Major brands reached out, wanting the Catalina effect for their own diversity initiatives. I walked in Miami Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week, even closed a show in Paris. Every milestone was documented, posted, impossible for my family to ignore. Their cruelty had launched a career they'd sworn I'd never have. The ultimate irony: I was invited to judge a modeling competition in San Juan, Carmen City. Standing where she'd once walked, I dedicated my success to the aunt I'd never met, but whose face I carried. My abuela attended, crying as she saw Carmen's features celebrated rather than criticized. "You broke the curse," she whispered. "You turned their poison into power." Today, I'm one of Raw Beauty's most booked models, with campaigns for major brands who specifically request unconventional beauty. My face appears on billboards, magazines, even a Times Square installation. But I keep one photo from the original Magna campaign in my apartment, my profile shot with Diego's "Nose enters room's" first comment visible beneath. Now when my nose enters rooms, it's for Vogue shoots and brand meetings. He was right about one thing: it does arrive first. Leading the rest of me into spaces my family said I'd never belong. The family fracture is permanent, but necessary. Some bridges are meant to burn, especially when they were built on cruelty disguised as kinship. My success didn't heal their jealousy. It amplified it. But I no longer need their validation. I have something better. Proof that resilience isn't just surviving attacks, but transforming them into art. They said I was too ugly to model, so I put their comments on billboards that redefine beauty. They thought their words would bury me. Instead, I built an empire on their graves, one stunning photo at a time. The campaign lives forever online, teaching future generations that cruelty can be transformed into catalyst. Young girls tag me in posts about facing family criticism, using my story as armor against inherited insecurity. Models thank me for proving that conventional beauty isn't the only beauty worth capturing. Even some family members have quietly shared the campaign, perhaps recognizing their own complicity in cycles of criticism. But I didn't do it for redemption or reconciliation. I did it for every Catalina told she wasn't enough, every Carmen lost to family cruelty, every face deemed unworthy by people too small to see its power. Beauty isn't perfection. It's persistence. It's taking the worst things said about you and wearing them like haute couture. It's knowing that the same features they mocked are now studied in photography classes as examples of compelling bone structure. It's understanding that sometimes the best revenge isn't proving them wrong, it's proving them irrelevant. My family thought they were protecting me from embarrassment by crushing my dreams. Instead, they created a model who walks runways with their words as fuel, their hatred as motivation, their screenshots as the foundation of an international campaign. I am Catalia Morales. They said I was too ugly to model, so I became the face of resilience. They share my photos for mockery, so I share their messages for millions. They thought beauty meant fitting into their narrow definition, but I proved it meant breaking those definitions entirely. And every time I book another job, sign another contract, or see my unconventional face on another billboard, I think of Tia Carmen and whisper, "This one's for both of us." Because resilience isn't just surviving those who try to break you, it's building something beautiful from the pieces they left behind. And that's a look that never goes out of style.